Polish intelligence services were hunting for Chomiak until the 1980s without knowing that he had fled for refuge to an Alberta farm in Canada that continues to be one of Freeland's real estate assets today. And she's really good buddies, by the way, with George Soros. Chrystia Freeland was going to be George Soros's authorized biographer. Freeland's parliamentary website ran this picture of Soros, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and Freeland at a World Economic Forum meeting she arranged in Davos in 2016. That picture is gone. At least I can't find it at the link provided. And here's Chrystia interviewing Soros in 2015. She's interviewed him many, many times. Interestingly, you used to be able to easily call these up on YouTube. It's not so easy anymore. I couldn't find any more. I wanted to get screen grabs from all of them for you, but I didn't feel like hunting all day for them. But they're out there. When Chrystia Freeland was a reporter, it says the Financial Times management in London proved to be more inquisitive of Freeland's closeness to the subjects of her reporting, namely Soros. According to the Globe and Mail, she clashed with editor-in-chief Lionel Barber and was ousted from her post in Europe. In 2015, George Soros allegedly wrote this paper called A Short and Medium-Term Comprehensive Strategy for the New UCranne. The new UCranne, yet again. This is his third go, his third kick at the can. Now, I don't know where John Solomon got this paper, but that's who uploaded it. Leaked 2015 George Soros strategy memo on UCranne. So take this with a little bit of a grain of salt. I'm not 100% that this was written by George Soros. But basically what it says is that after nearly a year of preparations, all the ingredients of a radical reform program are available. They just need to be put together. The National Reform Council brings together the presidential administration, the cabinet ministers, the Rada, it's like a parliament, and its committees, and civil society. Remember, civil society is him. That's his Renaissance Foundation, and all the foundations that he funds through that foundation, which are hundreds and hundreds of them, a lot of journalists, anything he needs to keep chaos going. On the second page of his paper, he says the National Reform Council is up and running. The International Renaissance Foundation, his foundation, was the sole financial supporter of the NRC until now, and it will be one of the main supporters of the PMO, the Project Management Office, which is in charge of financing the NRC and implementing various reform projects. Do you see how he builds these spider webs of control? And he funds it all, but it doesn't look like he's funding it. From the outside, you can't tell. The centerpiece of economic reforms will be the reorganization of Naftogaz. Interesting, because isn't that what this is all about again? The gas companies? The thing with Trump and Hunter Biden and all of these? They all own stakes in one another. First, set up the anti-corruption agencies, such as the National Anti-Corruption Bureau and the National Agency for the Prevention of Corruption. You see, he has no interest in ending corruption. Why set up two bureaus? So that they can fight with one another? So that they can contradict each other? You know what it is? It's narcissism. Narcissist needs two different people to play off of one another. They need to triangulate a situation. That's how they maintain control. And then next, he wants to implement the first stage of the judiciary reform, including setting up a new High Council of Justice and launching reappointment procedures for judges. Third, launch the constitutional reform program with decentralization as the first goal. Oh my gosh, so he's doing the entire thing all over again. Later in the paper, he says, a $1 billion annual allocation to UCranne with only 9% charged to the budget would make $11 billion available annually. And they talk about this being covered by comprehensive political risk insurance, which is available in addition to providing budgetary and other support to Ukraine. The insurance would be sold through the established national and international institutions like Ole Hermes in Germany, OPIC in the US, and MIGA at the World Bank. These institutions would be reimbursed by the EU through the MFA to make the insurance commercially attractive. But the European Union cannot be expected to take on the additional risk unless Ukraine demonstrates its determination and ability to fulfill all the requirements listed above. All these requirements plus more. Remember all these new agencies he wants to set up. All so that Ukraine can get massive, massive debt from the World Bank and the IMF, plus be allowed to buy insurance from 4 other agencies who will then have all of that underwritten by the European Union. The European Union won't underwrite any of that unless Ukraine does exactly what George Soaros says in his paper. And when you know it, May 5th, 2016, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development has said that they will support Ukraine's National Reform Council. As part of the new reform support architecture for Ukraine, the European Bank goes on to add more layers of bureaucracy to this. They say that the NRC needs to support newly formed reform support teams and extend support for the activities and outputs of SAGSUR. SAGSUR is a group that is being formed comprising primarily international advisors to the Prime Minister and President, whose role is to advise on how to carry out reforms and stay in line with the expected results of international creditors such as the IMF and the European Commission. Oh my God. Okay, I hope you have a flavor for how he does this. It's suffocating bureaucracy. It's indebtedness. And it's ginning up mobs to make them think they're demanding this. The mob thinks they're demanding all of this bureaucracy. Well, what it does, it probably doesn't know it's demanding all of this bureaucracy, but what it does is it provides cover for these civil society organizations to say that they are acting on behalf of the wishes of the people. The people wanted this choking red tape. And it's all in the name of anti-corruption. So to top it off, here's George Soros ending his report. Once the insurance is available, I am prepared to invest up to $1 billion in Ukrainian businesses. This is likely to attract the interest of the investment community. As stated above, Ukraine must become an attractive investment destination. The investments will be for profit, but I will pledge to contribute the profits to my foundations. This should allay any suspicions that I am advocating policies in search of personal gain. It doesn't. It doesn't. Because as you see, he takes that money and he puts it into his foundations, which he then gives to other foundations that he controls, and the whole process starts again. He's already a mega billionaire. And by making situations through his billions that change a country, he can do other investments elsewhere, outside of the country, which profit from the situation in Ukraine. So what's happening now? Let's bring this around to modern day. Zelensky, he got voted in April this year. And his first trip to North America was to Canada for a 3-day event hosted by Chrystia Freeland, our Minister of Foreign Affairs. And going back years, Freeland has been involved with Viktor Pinchuk's Yes Foundation, yet another foundation by another oligarch. He's an oligarch. Here they are together here. It's from 2012. This one's from 2012, 2013, 2018. She's with the Viktor Pinchuk Foundation in Davos. 2018, also, Chrystia Freeland was one of the panelists and an American conference called Taking on the Tyrant, all about